Steam locomotives have been one of the most best of adventures, sometimes nicknamed the Iron Horses. These steel monsters that rule the rails. Some of these engines are running on mainline excursions or running on tourist railroads. But sadly, some steam engines were not surviving today. All of them were scrapped by mistake or just swept out by freaking diesel locomotives. From beautiful speed demons that pulled the finest and richest passenger trains in the world to the big, heavy, hauler articulated engine that pulled the world's largest freight trains. I'm going to top down you the top 10 extinct American steam engines. The Louisville and Nashville L1 mountain types. These big mountain types were built by Baldwin Locomotive Works. In 1926, these engines ran for the Louisville and Nashville Railroad, also known as the Dixie Line. These engines resembled the Frisco T15 mountain types, but sadly they were all retired. All of the mountain types were retired from 1950 to 1959 and were all scrap. It was kind of a shame that these beautiful mountain types that could never be preserved. And if these engines ran excursion service, they might do a good double header with Frisco 1522 that's displayed at the St. Louis Transportation Museum in St. Louis. But two YouTubers keep the legend of them. But if you go on YouTube, there are two mountain types, one for trains and one for Microsoft Train Simulator. These engines were 410 and 419. And just like I said, these engines were not real. They were all scrapped. Number 9. The Milwaukee Road F6. These big, large Pacifics were built by Baldwin Locomotive by Baldwin in 1930. These engines have been one of the best designed engines ever. One of them broke Scotsman's speed record in 1930, but actually that was the same year, making this that American Pacific and the United Kingdom Pacific will have a fight. All of them were retired by 1952 and 1944. 1954. And we're all scrapped. Number 8. The Southern Railway T1 mountain types. Built by Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia in 1970. These were new 482 engines. Since that we all know, the Southern Railway didn't make any Northerns, Berkshires, Hudsons, or Hudsons. Wow, Southern. I can't believe how you didn't make any Northerns, Texas type, articulated engines, mountain type. But you only made mountain type, Pacifics, Consolidation, Mikados. Not a single Northern, Berkshire, Texas type, articulated engine, or Hudson. Wow. This is why the Southern Railway was shut down. Because of lack of power. How wonderful. All of these engines were retired from service and scrapped in favor of diesel engines. It proved very a shame that these 42 mountain types could be preserved. As we all know, there are not that many mountain types still preserved here in America and Canada. But if these engines were preserved, these engines might be the replacement for Southern Railroad PS4 Pacific 1401, since freaking Smithfield Museum would not let the Norfolk and Southern Railway get 1401 because they don't want the engine to be retired and scrapped. And this engine might have been good triple header with 630 and 45-1. Not even a triple header, but a mega head, but a mega header. A mega header means 4 engines. I wish 722 and these mountain types could be restored. And they might have a mega header along with 630, 45-1, and the Southern Railway mountain type and 722. Tell me in the comment section below how good you might think that might be. Number 7, the Santa Fe Valley Flyer. Now this is not an extinct steam engine, but I kind of like. So this will not just only be talking about steam engine, but limited, but express train that has steam engines. The Valley Limited was pulled by very gorgeous, streamlined 462 Pacifics. So being 500, that's under restoration at the Texas State Railroad, these were his siblings. They were all streamlined. And actually, I kind of like the concepts, actually. It looks more like it was a circus train, actually. Not to insult Santa Fe fans, actually. But sadly, the train was ceased out of service after the Santa Fe lost all passenger service after Amtrak, Metra took over every single railroad's passenger service. And as we all know, all the railroads that are still alive today are not running passengers, instead running on freight trains. And all these streamlined steam engines were scrapped. Number 6, the Southern Pacific Class GS1 Northerns, built by Baldwin Locomotive Works. These engines will later become the streamlined GS2, 3s, 4, 5, 6, 7s, 8s, and 9s of the Golden State class of the Southern Pacific Railway. These engines run on freight and passenger service, but all of them were retired from 1944 and 1959 and scrapped for the favor of diesel locomotives. Number